once again. Hope you all are doing well. We'll get started here in just a minute or two. I'm going to get all the social media shared up. And we'll start talking a little weather. Things are finally calming down a little bit. Hope you guys are doing well this evening. Let me know where you are checking in from. Those of y'all that got in early got a little sneak peek at something I cooked up today. And no, I'm not talking about the garlic rolls I made from scratch. Let us know where you are watching from and how much snow you picked up. We'll get going here in just a minute. Hope you guys are doing well today. Let us know where you are watching from. Let us know how much snow you saw. All right. Well, let's get started. Good evening, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Meteorologist Shane Smith here with you. It is Wednesday night, February 19th. We're just after 9:30 on the East Coast. And we had a decent little bout of winter weather roll through the Bluegrass today, and the last round is now moving in. We got Radar Omega pulled up, got it on the last about hour or so of a loop, and you can see snow crossing the Ohio right now. A few heavier bands up around Louisville and LaGrange, and as that band dips southeastward, we're going to put down a little bit of light accumulation. Not a whole lot. Eastern Kentucky will probably see some of that enhanced, thanks to the mountains. The mountains kind of act as almost like a permanent cold front. Whenever wind comes in from the northwest, it just lifts up the mountains. I guess that way on the camera. Got to go back to the old reverse days. But the wind rolls up the mountains, causes the air to lift, causes orographic enhancement to the precipitation. That's the meteorological term for it. Or you may hear it called upslope flow sometimes. But yeah, another round of light snow tonight. This one, not a huge deal. We're talking generally less than an inch for most folks. But with the roads being what they are already and being as cold as they are, it will not take much to create new slick spots. And a lot of schools already called off for tomorrow. But for those of y'all that have to get out and drive in it tomorrow morning, could have some issues. Now, the National Weather Service, folks, I love them. They're fantastic. That is the best $3 of your tax money you're going to spend every year. They do a phenomenal job. But we've got multiple jurisdictions in the state of Kentucky. The office out in Charleston covers parts of northeast Kentucky. Wilmington, Ohio covers parts of northern Kentucky. Louisville gets a lot of central Kentucky. Paducah gets a lot of far western Kentucky. Well, sometimes they disagree on how to handle some situations, and that's what we're seeing tonight. National Weather Service office in Louisville went with a winter weather advisory for tonight. They cut off the winter storm warning and just went with a winter weather advisory tonight because just a little light snow that could cause some travel impacts tonight. The National Weather Service offices in Charleston and in Jackson chose to stay with a winter storm warning for the entirety of the event, taking yesterday's snow and today's snow as one big event. Not going to get into the semantics of it. The bottom line, we got a little bit of more light snow tonight. It's going to cause some additional problems. Most of the state did end up, if you count yesterday into what we see tonight, will end up hitting winter storm warning criteria over the span of 48 hours. But just different offices handling it in different ways. To me, the snow, while going to cause a few problems tonight, may not be the biggest deal. The cold may honestly be the bigger deal tonight, especially considering that we've got a lot of folks in eastern Kentucky displaced right now. A lot of folks had damage to their homes, and it's going to be just flat cold tonight. Cold weather advisory out for wind chills approaching 10 to 15 below zero in the morning. This replaced the old wind chill advisory. You guys may remember that from a few years ago, all the way up until this year. We had wind chill advisories. Well, this year, the Weather Service nationwide tried to consolidate some of their warning products, tried to clarify some of them. So the wind chill advisory is now called a cold weather advisory. And that's because we are going to see some brutal cold wind chills in the morning. Let's go ahead and skip ahead to 7 a.m. Eastern, 6 Central Time in the morning. Wind chill of 0, Lexington. 2 around Somerset and London. 7 in Pikeville. 1 below Louisville to E-Town. 5 below Bowling Green. Just some brutal cold wind chills tomorrow morning across the state. And even at lunchtime, most of the state is going to feel like the single digits. Pikeville, you may be one of the few spots that go double digits. It's going to feel like 11 around 1 o'clock there tomorrow. And then tomorrow night, even colder air moves in. It will not surprise me if we see another cold advisory put out for Friday morning, as a few spots may go actual air temperatures down into the single digits, wind chills right at or below 0. But then you'll notice we start to warm up a little bit. Still going to be in the teens for those feels like temperatures Saturday morning. You'll see those highs in the afternoon feeling like the 30s and 40s by the end of the weekend. So some warmer weather is on the way. That is some good news. But before we get there, we do have some light snow to deal with. So let's take a look at it. We have got the North American Mesoscale model pulled up, the old NAM, or the new NAM actually, this is the 3K version. And you'll see right around 1 a.m., that band of snow that we're seeing right now up around Louisville is going to stretch from between Huntington and Covington and Cincinnati, down through Lexington, back through the Lake Cumberland region, extending over to just east of Bowling Green around Glasgow. That band will continue to push eastward overnight. You'll see a little bit of that enhancement along the mountains. It will linger a little longer in the mountains. Y'all may have snow up in Pike, Letcher, and Harlan counties through about 10, 11 a.m. tomorrow, maybe even a little bit after that. Could see a scattered snow shower or two before we finally cut that northwest flow off. Still think we're going to hang cloudy for the majority of tomorrow, but then I think we could see some clearing late, and that's going to really allow those temperatures to drop. Let's take a look at that cloud cover percentage through the overnight and through the day tomorrow. Tomorrow, at least, is going to start out in the eastern half of the state, mostly cloudy. Where you see the blues, that is heavy cloud cover. The whites is actually clear sky, so maybe just a little bit counterintuitive on this map. But you'll see the clouds should begin to thin out tomorrow afternoon. and that's what's going to allow those air temperatures to drop so far Friday morning. Clear sky and a calm wind is a good recipe for a cold night. Let's talk how much more snow. Go through all the models. European model, painting around a ½ inch to an inch along the I-75 corridor, a little bit less around I-65. Eastern Kentucky, an inch or two, a little bit more in the higher elevations. A very similar situation there on the good old GFS, although it is trying to crank out an inch or two down to Corbin. Folks in Middlesboro, you may see a little bit more. 2 to 3 inches up in the higher elevations. The HRRR model, not quite as aggressive. The Icon model looking pretty similar to the GFS. The old NAM said not much. Newer NAM said a little bit more. This is not going to be a big deal snow tonight, friends, but it will be enough to cause just a few new slick spots. Here is my additional snow forecast. Now this does not include what's already on the ground. This is what will fall tonight. So I think over along the I-65 corridor, up to a ½ inch would be a good bet, and that does include nothing for additional accumulation. For most of eastern Kentucky, up to an additional inch, and down along the Kentucky-Virginia border in the high terrain, 1 to 3 inches. We are getting reports of flurries, I'm seeing, over into Perry County and in Corbin. Ethel and Crystal, thanks for sharing those reports. Really appreciate y'all. Speaking of sharing, make sure to like and share the stream. It always helps out, especially as we're trying to grow the channel. Letting more people know I'm back in the game a little bit more often right now. And going to try to continue to do so, even when the weather's a little quieter. I probably won't be streaming every night, but I'll throw a few updates out there here and there. But the definitely enough snow tonight to cause some additional slick spots, and then the cold we're going to deal with tomorrow morning and Friday morning. Definitely enough to be on the dangerous side. Be sure to layer up if you're going to be out. Make sure to have those fingers and all the extremities covered, because with wind chills down around 10 below, that is enough to start causing some frostbite in about 30 minutes or so. So just be aware of that. Now, something new for y'all. Since I had the day off from school today, took a little bit of time during the day, did a little cooking for you. And no, it wasn't the garlic rolls we had for dinner tonight, although I did cook those. Those were okay. We'll take no credit from the frozen shepherd's pie from Aldi's, but it was pretty good. Nice and easy, too. But I made a new forecast graphic. Still going to do some tweaks to it, maybe a little animation to it. But I thought I would start including my own take on the 7-day and maybe eventually a day-part forecast in there. So here's where we're heading. Tomorrow you got that morning snow shower action. That should taper off. We'll see clearing late in the day. Highs, low 20s. Remember, the wind chill's going to be in the teens for most of the day, so it's going to feel colder in that 22 you'll see. Friday morning, wake up around 7 degrees. By the afternoon, just shy of freezing for most of the state. Maybe taking a run at the freezing mark along the Tennessee border. 40s for the weekend. That's not going to be bad. 40 for Saturday, 44 on Sunday, 50s on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, and I do expect those winds to start cranking up a little bit more as we go to the middle of next week. So the forecast definitely taking a turn to a little bit warmer. Some of the extended data not looking so good as we get into the beginning of March, but I am at least looking forward to a break from the winter weather once we get the snow past us tomorrow. No snow in the 7-day forecast. Thank you, Lord, is all I got to say for that. We are seeing snow outside Casa de la Smith right now. Thank you, honey, for checking that. I hadn't got a chance to look outside here a little bit. But we are starting to see some of that snow pick up. Definitely very light on the radar. Not even showing up at London. Let me switch over to Jackson, see if it'll show up on the actual Doppler and not the national network. One moment, we're going to switch radar sources. Yeah, you can see as we go to the National Weather Service office in Jackson's radar, a little bit of that snow starting to show up where the brighter blues are. That's where it's a little bit heavier, but a decent little band starting to show up around Campton. We'll go pop over to Louisville's radar, see how things are looking in the northern and the central part of the state. Oh yeah, pretty good little band from Carrollton through LaGrange down through J-Town, Radcliffe, E-Town. You'll be getting it here in a little bit. Irvington, Hardinsburg, y'all. Brandenburg just got it pretty good. That is diving down to the south and the east, even a little bit showing up near Bowling Green. Go pop the Wilmington radar on, see how northern Kentucky's doing. A little bit of light snow there between Falmouth and Butler. Dry Ridge, a little bit of snow there. Pat Conrad, if you're watching, hope you're doing well. Go on out to Fort Campbell. A little bit of snow showing up there just west of Bowling Green. Russellville getting a little bit of the action right now, and over at Paducah. We'll pop the Paducah radar up a little bit around Murray, back over towards Calvert City. So some light snow out there tonight. It'll continue falling for the next couple of hours. As far as additional snow, see a couple people asking for that. I think in the light kind of teal up to a half inch between, like, say, Louisville, over to Frankfort, down towards Russell Springs. We maybe pick up an additional coating in western Kentucky. I don't think we'll see much. We could see up to an additional inch pretty much along the I-75 corridor and to the east. A few spots that are exceptions that I would still say are game for up to an inch. Would include Danville, Science Hill, Mount Vernon, Somerset, Stearns, Monticello, and there along the Virginia border as that upslope gets going, 1 to 3 inches. So don't think it's going to be a ton here in London, Curtis, and Logan. Maybe a half inch to an inch tonight. Most of the high-res modeling spitting out about a half inch in London. I can pull up the NAM 3K. I think that's got a pretty realistic handle on it real quick. Hang on one second. That's what the high-res NAM is showing, and I think that's a very reasonable take on additional snowfall tonight. Not going to be a lot, but just enough to get the roads slick again, coat them up. And kudos to the road crews. They had a time today. Neighborhood. There was a good 2 to 3 inches of snow, and that bottom layer had really compacted into some dense ice. So they were having to kind of bust that up and then drop salt after they tried to clear the mess off the road. So I know they were struggling a bit on the secondary roads today. Ethel, I agree. The snow needs to go. We need to get back to school. I can't tell you the last time I've taught a full week. I think we've got one in since Christmas. Have we had one full week, hon?
I think so. I think you've had at least one.
I think we've had like maybe one full week of school since Christmas break. Any other questions or comments? By the way, let me know what you guys think of the new graphics. If y'all like them, I may cook up some additional stuff. And I think even on days where I don't stream here in the future, I'll try to post a little bit more often on my Meteorologist Shane Smith page. And I'm going to try to, once we get out of the live stream mode, do some dedicated kind of shorter videos over on YouTube again, maybe once or twice a week. There's the new extended forecast, and I'm happy about those 50s next week. So, yeah, we may get out in June. I think the state said June 4th is the latest we can go this year. It's either June 4th or June 15th. We'll have to see. Oh, thank you guys. We'll eventually get some animation on there, but just mocked it up today and pretty happy with how it turned out. It's almost like I teach this stuff. I actually did start teaching graphic design classes in addition to video production this year, so that's been pretty fun. All right. Well, we are coming up on 9:53. Do y'all have any questions about the forecast? Overall, not a lot. Just a little bit on top of what we've already got out there, but just enough to get things good and slick again. Especially I-65 East is where the best chance. Although those radar returns over in Western Kentucky were honestly a little bit better than what I was expecting tonight. So we may have a little bit of an overperformer, whereas last night was a little bit of an underperformer in some spots. We had some pretty big thunderstorms, a little bigger than we had originally forecasted, fired up in the deep south last night, and that robbed us a little bit of that moisture. But I know we still pulled kind of a general 2 to 4 inches of snow here in Laurel County. Would love to know how much you got in your backyard. We had it was just under 3 inches here at my house when I went out and measured this morning as everything was tapering off. Saw up around Pittsburgh they had 4.5 inches, so pretty big spread. Laurel County would love to know what they had down in Corbin on the other end of the county. It took the moisture that we were expecting. I don't think a lot of people are going to complain about less snow. Some people will. Yeah, we had some melting this afternoon for sure once the sun came out. That did help to get the roads in better shape. Yes, less snow is a good thing. I've had my share for the winter, folks. My wife can attest. I do love my snow, but even I am hitting my limits now. It's been enough. Let's get on to spring and summer. I look forward to sandy beaches, warm temperatures, and my feet in the ocean this summer, somewhere warm and comfortable. Because the winter this year has been one that we're going to talk about for a while. Thanks, Diane, for watching. Appreciate it. Yeah, we will hopefully keep those warm temperatures. Almost 8 in Russellville. Woo! School out the rest of the week in Greene County. Blake, thanks for sharing that on YouTube. I know Laurel County is out tomorrow. I know a lot of places are out tomorrow. And I suspect a lot of places are going to be out Friday because we're not going to have much melting tomorrow. Temperatures are not going to rebound, so I'd say it's going to be Monday before a lot of kids get back into school. Hey, my pleasure, Curtis. Thanks for tuning in. If you guys haven't already, please hit that follow button on Facebook, the subscribe button on YouTube. Really helps us out. Like the content, drop some interactions in there, share it out. We're going to try to build a little weather community here over the next couple of months. I like talking about the weather, and there's been a lot to talk about in Kentucky lately, that's for sure. So we'll go ahead and start wrapping this up, folks. Once again, thank you for joining us. Just to recap the forecast tonight, a little bit of light snow lingering over around the I-65 corridor and just to the east. Could see up to an additional half inch of accumulation tonight. Central Kentucky, Eastern Kentucky up to an inch, except down in far southeast Kentucky, places like Pikeville, back over to Prestonsburg, down towards Hindman, Hazard, Harlan, Whitesburg. Y'all may see 1 to 3 inches, especially up in the high terrain, up around Black Mountain, over towards Pine Mountain. You folks may get a little bit more thanks to that northwest wind. And that snow will linger until late tomorrow morning, maybe even early tomorrow afternoon in the mountains. Most of us should see it out of here just after the morning commute. And warmer weather is on the way. 50s are coming. Just hang in there, friends. We'll get there early next work week. That's going to do it for us tonight. Thank you all for tuning in.